Hello and welcome to the Weekly Reel Podcast. My name is Jeremy,
And my name is Ken.
and today we're going to be talking about Roadhouse 2024. Ken, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. It's been a very busy week, and I know you were busy with work, which is why we started a little bit later today. I mean, you just literally got back from work, so
Literally,
hopefully
yeah.
you got a little bit of energy saved for this live stream.
I know. Hopefully, it's gonna be a weird night.
Yeah, hey, we got to have that adrenaline kind of kick in, like in some of these fights that we actually did see in Roadhouse.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of energy with this movie. I'm curious to see what you think about this movie, but Ken, I want to remind everyone, and especially those who usually listen to us on Spotify, I want to let them know we're actually live right now. And yeah, where do we
Woo!
usually stream, Ken?
Well, we stream on a little platform. We give it a little bit of time. Maybe they'll make it. We stream on YouTube. And so I want to shout out our YouTube live stream audience right now. We do see a comment already. Welcome, for show Jax. I just want to obviously welcome you guys as well as the ones that will be joining a little bit later on today. So I want to encourage everyone that we will have opportunities to address any of the questions or comments that you might have throughout the evening. Obviously, if it's related to part one of the movie, and Jeremy will introduce that movie shortly, but also part two, where we will have another episode of the Soup du Jour, where we will be talking about movie remakes. And so, if you can think of some of your favorite movie remakes, we would love to hear about those. So, do some quick internet research. We'll have a little bit of time for you in part two.
Yes, part two. That will be in a little bit, but remember, we're going to be talking about Roadhouse 2024 first, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. And Ken, I actually have this is Jeremy's story time real quick. I didn't tell you I
Ooh.
was going to do this, but I'm hosting, so we'll see what happens. Um, so recently I was talking with this person that, okay, they're a nice person. I don't want to like brag on them or anything, but the song, like a song by Taylor Swift was playing, okay?
Mm.
And apparently, I didn't know this, not in any real detail, but apparently, like Jake Gyllenhaal and Taylor Swift were a thing. And he's like, oh, yeah, this
Yes.
song is about Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm like, oh, cool, really? Hey, me, like, I have no idea what's happening. And okay, also disclaimer, I like Taylor Swift songs. I like Jake Gyllenhaal movies. So, but if
I
I have
think
to
you,
take a
I think you're
side,
in the majority though. You're in the majority.
okay,
I don't think
okay.
there's anything wrong with that.
All right. Just covering all bases here. You don't know what's gonna happen. Because she's like, yeah, like this is Jake Gyllenhaal song, but it's very like I can't do the Valley Girl type of thing right now. But yeah, she's like, yeah, this is why a lot of people like they don't like Jake Gyllenhaal. No one likes Jake Gyllenhaal anymore. I'm like, I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I literally said this, and I was like, she's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, Taylor Swift fans are kind of scary.
Yes, Swifties are. We'll just say they're loyal.
Yes, but I was like, that's in a good way, fandom.
Yes.
Don't get me started on Star Wars. All right.
Wait. Only because I'm not really too caught up on some of these things. I did know that they used to go out. What was the
Mhm.
song? Just out of curiosity.
Honestly, I don't know.
You're gonna have to sing it to me offline. I'm
No,
just
I don't.
kidding.
I think it was
Offline,
even like a
offline.
remix. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Or
okay.
else, she's gonna come after us.
Yeah.
Okay, for ruining her song by me singing. All right. For anyone that hasn't seen Roadhouse 2024 first, this is your spoiler warning because I'm going to give a little bit of a rundown of what's happening. So, Dalton, a former UFC fighter, now a drifter, is hired to clean up the rowdy roadhouse while trying to fend off a rich boy and his goons from taking the land. Yeah, taking the land from her. So, ooh. Ken, first of all, I want to ask you real quick before we get into the double feature. Have you seen the original Roadhouse?
Uh, I was planning on it, and then life got in the way because I was gonna do actually a double feature after I streamed this one. So I was gonna go right into that one, but then I was like, you know what? I haven't watched anything new for part 2 of this episode, and so
Mm,
I decided to watch it something new there. And then I was like, okay, I could do it tomorrow, and then that tomorrow I just
never happened.
never happened. But
Okay.
I'm curious. I eventually will watch it.
Okay.
So
Because I was almost gonna say, should I mention some spoilers for
go ahead.
that? All
Go
right.
ahead. It's 1989, original Roadhouse. Obviously, this is a remake. It's fair game if it's something that happened in the 1900s.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. By the way, Sean Tierra also says he's, I think, watching. I'm still watching. I'll come back in 30 minutes. That's a good idea, Sean. Go finish Roadhouse, the new one,
The new one, yeah.
and come back in a little bit.
Yeah, come back as we talk movie remakes in part 2 and think of some of your favorite movie remakes, Sean.
Yes. And give us your thoughts on Roadhouse when you come back.
Yes.
All right. So the double feature, for those who don't remember, is where me and Ken each come up with a question. We don't know what we're going to ask each other. And yeah, we're just kind of spontaneous. Okay. Can't even talk right now.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's been a long day. Here we go. So I feel like Roadhouse, this movie, it's like a tale of two halves, in my opinion. Um, the first half of the movie is kind of like a smaller, kind of 80s Western movie type vibe. Then the second half is the darker, grimmer, kind of more over the top movie. Um, which half did you kind of prefer?
The first half. I don't know if it's because, well, we got a lot more Jake Gyllenhaal. I felt like easily he was the best part of this movie. I love this character, and so that I'm kind of curious. I'm assuming Patrick Swayze plays the same guy or maybe similar character to Jake Gyllenhaal in the original. But I got only because I've recently watched it in the last couple months. I got Reacher vibes from season 1, where he's a drifter, and all of a sudden something happens, or just circumstances bring him to a place where he's got to kind of blow on into a random city, and he's got to clean up everything. So I enjoyed that part, and like I liked the some of the side characters, like what was it, Charlie, that little girl that and then her dad
Yeah, let's
that
see.
that Dalton
Oh,
meets in the book store.
mm-hmm.
And
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
and obviously the people within the Roadhouse, they all seem likable and not too vanilla, I don't think. Especially the owner, who's the owner again?
Frankie.
Sorry. Yeah, Frankie.
Yeah.
I felt like she was a little underutilized, to be honest. I wouldn't have mind seeing her a little bit more on screen. But yeah, I just enjoyed seeing Dalton struggle as he finds his like bearings, and adjusting to his new role as the bouncer for the Roadhouse while he lives on the boat.
Yeah. The boat. Dude, I actually like that.
Yeah.
Because if you do eventually watch the first movie, the Roadhouse is called the Double Deuce.
Oh.
And there's a restaurant, I think, near the bookhouse called the Double Deuce. I wish they kind of just called the Roadhouse the Double Deuce again. I think that would be funny, but
Yeah.
the Roadhouse is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, my thoughts on the first half, because I think we're gonna talk about the second half in just a bit. I also like the first half a lot, especially I watched the first half of the old Roadhouse first. Kind of
Mm.
I watched an hour of that movie then
weird.
watched the new one. Yeah, and then I finished the new one. Or sorry, the old one.
The old one.
Yes. And
Okay.
so with this starting this movie, when you see Dalton, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, like stop on the tracks and just contemplate
Suicide.
getting that train. I'm trying to YouTube uh the train
Oh,
hitting
yeah.
his car
Yeah.
while he's in it. Um yeah, I was like, wow, this is much darker than the 80s version. And
Yeah.
that's what kind of made it different for me. But it had that still 80s kind of corny kind of swagger about it in that first half, and that the building up of the story of Roadhouse. I think that's what I liked. Like you said, the cast of characters was very 80s
Mm-hmm.
uh feeling. Like the bookstore, I actually feel like that was a much better comparison to, because they blow up another place in the original movie. I feel like the one in the remake, it hit harder
Mm-hmm.
personally for me. Maybe because there's a child in danger that you kind of have to care for.
And also, you're burning books. That's never a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I'm
very
not even
true.
really a book reader myself, but anytime you burn books, it's always associated with villainism, like the Nazis.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say Fahrenheit 451.
But yeah, Fahrenheit
Yeah.
451. There you go.
Um, shoot. But yeah, easily. I was having a really fun time with the first half,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll give spoilers for my I Love You 3000. It was sitting about like an 80 for the first
Ooh,
half. Yeah, yeah. I was like, I'm really liking this movie. And Patrick Swayze, Jake Gyllenhaal, they have like a swagger about them, but
they
it
do.
was different. Like Jake Gyllenhaal's smile, it seemed like he was a very depressed guy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like there was this darkness behind him that they definitely took advantage of in this movie. But in the original, he would also smile a little bit more, but he seemed more like laid back kind of guy just naturally, compared to this one where it's like, oh, there's this inherent darkness behind
Kind of
him.
like a sad clown type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like smiling. He can be charming because that's who he is, but his circumstances have kind of beat him up.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm. Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
So what do you think about the second half then?
I did not like it. I'm sorry. It
Where
it it,
was
it,
there
it
a
all fell
turning point?
apart. It all fell apart when I saw Conor McGregor's ass cheeks.
Oh, so his first scene.
I was like, "What is going on?" It wasn't even that, but I don't know. It was just a lot of it was over the top. Obviously, I'll get it more into it on my real review, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because I never watched the original Roadhouse, but from what I hear, that movie was a little over the top. Obviously, it was made in the '80s, and I don't know if Doug Liman wanted to pay homage to it rather than come up with maybe his own vision. So I feel like that's kind of like the gift and curse of doing a remake is that, okay, are you going to try to make something that is, more in line with the original, or are you going to take creative liberties and make it your own? So again, I've not seen the 1989 Roadhouse. By the way, it's streaming on Max. We're still not sponsored by
Mhm.
Max. But yeah, I don't I Conor McGregor's character reminded me of Jason Momoa's character in Fast X
Oh,
with
shoot,
the
that's
over
a
the
good compare.
topness. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that is a perfect comparison.
Except Jason Momoa is an actor. Conor
Yeah,
McGregor is not an actor.
that's
So there were degrees to like going over the top. And his was a train wreck, in my opinion.
oh, okay. Shoot, I feel like I
Hmm.
don't feel that harshly about it. I
Oh,
try to see it as oh, he's a 80s villain.
yeah.
Like he's very much that, I feel
That,
like. He
yeah.
didn't blend too well with like Jake Gyllenhaal's style of Dalton, where I think he would fit better if it was the 80s. Conor McGregor's
Yeah.
character, Knox, but and I try to take it for what it is, kind of like Jason Momoa's, but like you said, um,
I was conflicted in Fast X about his whole thing too, because I was like, man, I like him shooting a shot, trying something different, but only because we have like that rapport with Jason Momoa. We've seen him play multiple characters over his career, uh, but Conor McGregor decided to go ahead and literally just shoot a shot. I don't know. His accent and his voice was weird to me the entire time.
yeah, I
His
couldn't get
delivery.
over it. I couldn't like tell if he was trying, like, what was he trying. Okay, look, I don't know that much about Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Um, remember when he would just walk, like, kind of like
That's his
almost like he's
signature.
really okay. I was wondering. I was like, he's just. It looks like he's wearing freaking flippers, on his feet. I'm like, is that like a Conor McGregor thing or
Yeah.
what?
That is his swagger. Actually,
Okay,
did you catch the stinger at the very end?
I did.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that you caught that. And for those of you who have not who watched the movie and maybe just switched off the movie, there's actually a little stinger at the end, a little Easter egg with Conor McGregor doing
Yeah,
this
you
thing.
get to see more butt cheeks.
We do have some comments.
Yeah. Jacqueline English says Jake Gyllenhaal is so hot in this movie. Fire emoji. Spicy. Okay. And she also says Conor McGregor is so short. How tall is Conor McGregor? Do you know?
That's a good that's a good question. Let's go look
I'm
it up right now.
I'm gonna guess 5'7".
You are incorrect. He's 5'9".
Oh, really? Wow, they
Yeah.
made Jake Gyllenhaal look really tall in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty good. Oh man. My half of the double feature, because again, there's two halves of these things, right? The double feature. I know that Jeremy, I forget if it was the last episode a couple weeks ago or the episode before, you did a binger cringe variant. Today it's my turn.
Hmm.
Here's my binger cringe variant. What was the best aspect of Roadhouse 2024? Or, so you could share whatever that is, or name at least one thing you would change to make Roadhouse 2024 better.
Damn. Okay, can I do both?
If you want, go ahead. Yeah, it's our podcast. We can do whatever we
Okay,
want.
all right. Because I think the obvious one is Jake Gyllenhaal for
Yeah.
Binge. He's easily the best thing about this movie. I think it being like the modern version, and nowadays everything is kind of darker. Everything has to have like a reason for happening. And for his decision to make the character darker than what it was in the original movie, there's similarities, obviously similar backstories to the original, but the way that Jake Gyllenhaal played it was much more like real.
Mm-hmm.
In the original movie, there was this darkness behind Patrick Swayze's Dalton, but I didn't feel like. And then he would go back and forth between being really happy and really like angry, and
Oh.
so that was kind of jarring to me. Compared to this, I could see like when Jake Gyllenhaal would snap. I was like, I felt like that was coming the entire movie.
Yeah.
Um, so, but the biggest thing I would change, the one thing I would change that would make it better for me was probably the villain. What's his name? Ben.
Ben Brent.
Yes, Ben Brandt, because him and Conor McGregor, Knox is Knox.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Like I liked Knox as the physical villain, and you
Yes.
kind of have this dynamic also in the original Roadhouse, where there's the head honcho guy with the top henchman, and what I didn't like for Ben Brandt was that he was the son of the guy he's actually working for, and we never get to see The dad.
Yeah. What was his name again? I don't even know.
I don't think they did. They even mention his name.
I think they mentioned it quickly. I was watching this movie with subs on, but I remember Knox was talking to him on the phone. But remember from the correctional facility, it was like a collect call. I think they mentioned the name. I want to say it was like Glenn. Maybe I'm thinking Glenn Powell. I don't know.
I think Glenn Powell's been on our minds this entire season.
I know.
So,
Jeez.
go watch our last episode.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. Anyone but you.
But no,
yeah.
I hear what you're saying with where we didn't get to meet the dad, especially if he was going to be the big bad or the one pulling the strings behind trying to get control of the Florida Keys.
Yeah, see, I thought that he would eventually show up,
Mm-hmm.
but then he never does, and then the son is like a B villain already.
Yeah.
And then there's Knox, which I get, he
Mhm.
plays his role in terms of being the physical obstacle for Dalton, but you
Mhm.
need someone like evil with brains at the top.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the original does better, but yeah, the villain is still like is probably the weakest thing for me that I would change.
Like I was thinking about what you just said. It kind of reminded me of the first John Wick, where we got Theon Greyjoy. I forgot his Alfie Allen, I think is his name. We kind of got like him, the son being a little bit more wimpy or whatever, but we got to meet the boss, the dad. We got to, he was menacing. He had a presence about him, and he was talking about the Bobo Yaga. And I felt like that's what this movie was missing. You know what I mean? Even if we didn't get to see him, but at least see him kind of in the background, just pulling the strings, would have been nice.
Yeah, like I didn't know if they were trying to set up a sequel movie or
Yeah.
if we were eventually going to see him, but we never did. And I don't know, would they make a sequel to this movie?
I don't know. I mean, I'd probably give it a shot. I mean, I probably like this movie less than you did, but yeah, to answer my own question, I literally, it seems like you were kind of reading off my notes, in that's kind of what I would do. I would in addition to that, I'd probably give Knox less lines.
Yeah, he
But
was in a lot in the second half.
he had way too many lines, and I kept hearing that weird accent that he was trying to do for the entire movie, and it just threw me off. He could have just been that guy that was like, okay, the right hand man that just beats up everyone, and I would have been fine with it because his fighting obviously would look credible, not like Post Malone. Post Malone, they have to CGI his stuff.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's Post Malone in the beginning of the movie. All right.
Oh my god. But yeah, either that or, and again, maybe again it's because I haven't seen the original, so I don't. They purposely cast someone like Conor McGregor to be over the top kind of 80s villain. You know who would have been pretty cool as like a more silent like UFC fighter that's the muscle behind this whole thing?
Oh.
And I don't know if it would have maybe worked, but I can picture GSP, George St. Pierre, like, because we get to see him a little bit in the MCU, and he looked pretty. I mean, he's in one of our favorite movies, Captain America: The Winter Soldier,
Yep.
and dude, his fighting was like pretty crazy, and he just looks like a villain. He reminds me of, again, I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago, Robert Patrick in Terminator 2: Judgment Day. He doesn't need to say anything. He just needs to look mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
I mean, they could have done that with Conor McGregor, just have him talk less. Like,
but again, I get it.
Chow.
Oh yeah, sorry. Not Chris Chow says Knox got to put some pants on. I bet you a lot of dudes that didn't want to see that, especially in the beginning. I was like, especially when it was like bending over. I was like, no, why?
Yeah, there was that awkward cut where in his first scene he was like taking the jacket or taking the clothes. He tried to be all Terminator like, and then it just cuts, and all of a sudden there's like fire and explosions behind him. I was like, okay, that was a weird cut.
Yeah. It was weird too because he had the jacket, but I think he still didn't have pants on.
Yeah, he still didn't have pants. I'm like, just take the pants.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
that's one change Chris Chow would do.
More pants.
More pants. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's fine at that point in time. All right, let's move on to the dailies, kind of our random thoughts section for the
Mhm.
movie. I feel like there's a lot of random thoughts for this movie. Um, I want to look like okay. How did you feel about Dalton when he killed that one guy when he like hit him in the throat, and then that guy like drowned in the pool?
That was
How
so
did you
badass. I thought that was my favorite part.
really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know, maybe psychopath or whatever. But I was, it gave me a little bit of weird Joker vibes or something like that because he was like, or man, what was his role in where he kind of played someone crazy? Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not as violent or whatever, but yeah, I just feel like he kind of tapped into that a little bit, and I was there for it. I don't know. That's just me.
I feel you. I when he was talking with and he wouldn't like blink and stuff, I was like, oh, he's going full Nightcrawler right now.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
honestly though, because when I only watched the first half of the original Roadhouse when I watched this movie, and when that happened, I was so like taken aback. I was like, what the heck? He just killed a guy. Like, and I didn't know how to feel about it, as the hero of the story.
I think he's damaged. I
Yeah.
mean, I think he's still got PTSD from that that UFC match where he ended up killing. It was someone that he knew, right? One of his
Yeah, it was like one
friends.
of his friends, yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's just still damaged from that emotionally and just mentally. And so he's probably he probably has gone into some dark places. Dalton's character has been.
See, like my when I saw that scene, my score went like and I watched the rest of the movie, my score was down like lower than what it is now.
Mm,
But after some time thinking about it and thinking about the reasons of and kind of reflecting on the rest of the movie and watching the original movie,
yeah.
uh I liked it. The decision more
Yeah.
to have him kill him that way. Specifically, okay, I don't this is a pretty big spoiler for the original. He kind of does something similar in the original, but he literally, in 80s fashion, with his bare hands, rips a guy's throat out.
Oh yeah. It's like wait, who did that recently? I don't know.
But when I saw that, I'm like, okay, maybe the way they did it in the new Roadhouse is it's still over the top,
Yeah.
but it's more believable.
Yeah. Um what'd you think of the some of the action scenes?
I liked most of them.
Yeah.
Like the slap fight
That was so
in the
good.
that was probably the best one in the movie, honestly.
Yeah. Kind of wish
Uh,
they didn't give that away in the trailer.
exactly, yeah. And the movie is surprisingly funny.
It is.
When he was driving them back to or driving them to the hospital.
See, that's parts like that that made me
Yeah,
love the first half of the movie.
I was like, and that one guy would be like, "Oh, it's only 25 minutes away from here."
And
I
they
love
kept,
that.
that guy was my favorite side character, actually.
Yeah, he was so good.
I think he broke my
But
arm.
it got so dark though,
Yeah.
because it's like later on, it's like, "Let me live, man." I'm like, "Oh shoot,"
Hmm.
because he knows what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a bit okay because there's the camera work with that first slap fight scene. I also like the first fight of Dalton and Knox in the Roadhouse. I
Yeah,
thought
that was good.
that was good. I think the final fight with him and Conor McGregor went a little too much in terms of the way the camera was just like sliding around. I was like, oh, it feels okay. It's like,
A
hold
little
on,
over the
Doug
top.
Lyman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you remember that one shot in Edge of Tomorrow, also directed by Doug
Doug
Lyman,
Lyman. Yeah.
when Tom Cruise is just like running around with his freaking mech suit and the camera would be following him. It felt like that the entire fight scene. I'm like, that's too much. I know we're trying to go over the top, but there's a point where it feels like everything's sliding and punches aren't as heavy as they probably should be because of the camera work.
Okay.
Except for the sound design was on point.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually the head-to-head stuff was pretty good.
Yeah. Sean Tierra is back. He said it was the greatest thing I ever watched. That's what he also said about not Madam Web.
Madam Web.
Yeah, was it Matt? Was it?
Anyone but you.
Anyone but you. He said all it said for Connor's script was be yourself.
But with a weird accent.
But yes, I was like, just talk normally, man. If you can't do a voice.
There were some points where I thought he was doing some weird Ezekiel Sims dubbing thing.
Oh.
I don't think it was. I haven't like looked too closely, but I think it was just a weird choice with whatever accent he was doing. Yeah, it was very strange. Anything else that we kind of missed? I feel like this movie was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. I feel like the love interest was just.
Oh yes,
it wasn't bad, but
Rat
it wasn't
Catcher.
like. Yeah, Ratcatcher 2, by the way.
Right, yeah, Ratcatcher 2. Sorry. You're right.
I like that one scene where they go to that island and just drink beers.
Oh man, dude. I was like, man, that sounds good right now. Like, I would rather not go to work and just go to the Florida Keys and sit on a lawn chair in the middle of the, is that technically the ocean?
Yeah, I guess so. And he just wanted to leave. I was like, no.
I know. What's wrong with you?
Come on, man.
Come on, Ratcatcher 2
Ratcatcher 2's
is
there.
looking pretty good.
Like, come on. He's depressed, man. I think that's why.
Luckily, he let down his guard a little bit.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Ratcatcher 2's dad and his nickname? I can't say it out loud.
Oh yeah. The sheriff guy.
The sheriff guy, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought he was a little all over the place, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Trying to figure out what his allegiances were.
I also felt that way, and it's similar in the freaking original. So that thing wasn't really improved upon either. And I was honestly, when I was watching the first one and thinking about this one at the same time, I was like, "Oh shoot, which one happened in which movie?" Sean also says Post Malone in the beginning was a bit random, though. Do you wish Jake Gyllenhaal fought Post Malone?
They wanted to showcase his weird punches. And his song. The song was playing in the background. So
yeah, there you go.
It had to be product placement.
Yeah,
product placement mean him.
Himself while he's fighting.
Yeah.
At least we know what his walkout music is.
Yeah. His own song. Like Shawn Michaels singing his own song.
That's a freaking deep cut right there.
Come on. We love the WWE here.
We do. Someone should have done a Sweet Chin music, man.
Yeah. That would have been pretty cool. Wait, I guess I don't watch enough UFC, but I feel like the only move that I remember that it was done outside of the octagon. I know there was like footage within the octagon. Some of the moves, I'm surprised they didn't try to do a little bit more UFC moves, I guess.
Yeah.
But we just got a rear naked chokehold or something, or I forget what you call it. But yeah, I would have liked to see like maybe some more moves like that. I mean, if there were more quick hitters, I guess. It's like I'm gonna break your trigger finger or whatever.
Just more like reacher moves.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
just um yeah, I would have liked to see that too. I don't know, like we know Jake Gyllenhaal can movie fight, he was in Southpaw, so some
yeah.
boxing versus like MMA, would have been kind of cool. I don't know what Dalton's fight style is.
Yeah, I mean he got yoked for this movie, and I loved how they used the actual live UFC audience to film like some of the scenes from there. I remember it was getting posted on social media during during production. That was pretty cool.
hmm Yeah, that was cool. I wanted to see more of that background actually. Like even just a full like scene of maybe him and his friend before the match or something.
Yeah, to kind of establish that they were friends
Yeah.
instead of just saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, just saying it and killing him.
Hmm.
Yeah, he went full on Nightcrawler on him though.
Yeah, he did. He lost it. He was like, "Oh, he snapped. Oh no."
All right, let's give our real review of Roadhouse 2024. Ken, what do you, I'm kind of scared now.
Well,
Yeah,
looks
all
like
good.
it looks like I'm in the minority, and maybe I just don't get it. Jake Gyllenhaal gives a very mysterious but somehow endearing performance as Dalton that you really want to root for. You can relate with his character struggles, that it's very easy to forgive some of the movie's shortcomings. Sadly, for the most part, I couldn't. The action was hit or miss, mostly hit, but I was surprised that for an action movie about like barroom brawling, there wasn't more hits or more memorable fights, I guess. I found it strange that they CGI'd certain fight scenes. I'm looking at you, Post Malone. But again, I prefaced it. Maybe it's because I still haven't watched the 1989 original starring Patrick Swayze that I didn't get to appreciate this version. So, but judging from the 2 hours I devoted to screening this particular version, I couldn't get past two words. I'm sorry to say it. Couldn't get past Conor McGregor. Holy crap, was he horrible. I know he is best known for running his mouth, but his entire role as Knox gives Ezekiel Sims a run for his money for weird voice or a weird accent. I'm not sure what he was trying to do. Again, maybe I just don't get it. I will admit that my I Love You 3000 score for Roadhouse is a little incomplete because I kind of want to watch the 1989 version before I give my final. But for now, I'm giving it a 1560 out of 3000, 52%.
Okay, all right. Ooh,
I didn't hate
okay.
it.
Yeah, you didn't hate it. You just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal redeemed this movie for me. He was so good.
Yeah, see that I hope they do a sequel. Just to see like maybe an original story rather than a retelling it with a fresh new new coat of paint, because for me Roadhouse gives a fresh new of paint to the 80s classic. It does some things better, such as fights, darkness to the storyline, but also does some things worse, like the villains, the pretty rich kid that has no charisma. Um, but it also doesn't have the flair of the 80s to make it a cult classic. But I think it's still good enough for a good time and good enough to put it in the good pile of remakes. So I'm giving it a 2190 out of 3000, a 73%.
Mm, very interesting.
Yeah, for me, it was riding in that 80% until halfway,
Die. Yeah.
and then it dropped down to like 60 something. So I'm like, okay, 73.
Still a pretty good score, though.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
All right, but let's get into our favorite game here on the Weekly Reel podcast, which is Guess the Rotten Tomatoes score. Ken, you are still up by 1 point for now. It is, you have 3 points, I have 2 points. And to remind everyone, we do guess the score ahead of time to make everything fair as possible. But Ken, what is your guess for Roadhouse?
To be honest with you, after my first screening, I was like, man, I have no idea how Rotten Tomatoes score is gonna what how everyone will score it. I was like, okay, I could see people being harsh about it, but again, I feel like people that have that nostalgia factor may give it a bump. Ultimately, I went with my gut. I don't know if it's a great score. I'm giving it a 39%.
39%. Okay. So for me, my rationale for my score was I felt like the critics or people, the critics that did see the original would bash this movie.
Yeah.
And people who haven't seen it would probably like it more.
Mm.
So I am guessing a 63%.
Oh, fresh. Nice.
Yeah. Barely. All right. So here it is. Roadhouse 2024 is a 60% with 172 reviews. That audience score is
Whoa, yeah, I was more surprised about the audience score.
dang. Yeah, especially for like a streaming movie.
Yeah, it's free, guys. It's free. Why are you scoring movies like me?
Well, I guess I get the point this week because I'm a little closer.
Ah. Oh. Yeah, it sounds about right. I had no idea how the critics would score this one.
Honestly, I'm actually surprised that it got fresh.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be in the 50s, but I was being hopeful.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, you got the point this week.
yeah,
I
I
gotta
got the
redeem
point this
myself.
week.
You're on a 2-week streak.
Yeah, because now we are all tied up. And which one of my favorite lines in that scene where it's like, "Oh, you wanna call it a tie?"
That was good. It was from
What the hell does that mean?
What was it? A draw? It was a draw, I think.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was a draw.
That means we both win.
yeah, that means we both win. It's like, no, I want to win. That was so good. I was surprised that guy died by a crocodile.
I know, and we never found the body because crocodiles hide their, or what do we call it? They hide their food or something. I forgot.
Yeah, they hide their prey. I forgot.
Yeah,
Or,
because
yeah,
they got that one dog. I was like kind of sad about that.
yeah, Chauncey.
Chauncey. Yeah.
See, like, see jokes like that. I don't know. I like that. Felt very Reacher-esque. Callbacks, you know.
I don't know. It's making me want to watch Reacher again.
I mean, Reacher is better. So,
Yeah.
but Sean also says better than Madam Web.
Oof.
He also guessed probably 70-ish.
Yeah.
Then he's like, ooh,
Yeah.
39. I don't know, Ken.
Again, I felt like my radar was off this week for guessing the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Honestly, guessing for streaming movies is really hard.
Yeah, I'm finding that out.
Yeah. When I guessed for Dune, man. Dune 1, sorry.
Yeah, I would have been closer if I guessed closer to what I actually gave it. Still would have lost, but still.
Closer.
Would have been, yeah, would have made it a little bit more respectable.
All right, but next week is not a streaming movie. If anything, it's some big bombastic blockbuster in theaters.
Yes. Next week we go from A Clash of Titans. Remember we covered that movie, the previous movie, earlier in this podcast. Shameless plug for Godzilla v Kong.
Mm-hmm.
But we go from A Clash of Titans to a monstrous team up in Godzilla X Kong. Is it X Kong or and Kong? I don't know.
I think it's X Kong.
Okay.
I don't know why, but
Or times Kong? Like, is it like a multiplication?
multiplication. But then there's the semicolon.
Yeah, I
Or
don't know.
the colon.
Yeah, the colon. But it's Godzilla X Kong, the new empire, which is, I mean, we're recording this on the 27th of March. It's actually out tomorrow.
Mhm.
So go see it this weekend. so that you could join in on the conversation on next week's live stream on YouTube.
Yes, because on YouTube, Ken, if they want to find us, if you're not listening on YouTube right now or watching us right now on YouTube, remind our listening audience, where can they find us?
Well, search for the Weekly Reel podcast on YouTube. Then you can hit that subscribe button. That way, all of our stuff appears in your subscribe list or whatever, that subscribe button that's on your app. Also, hit the notification bell for alerts so that, like our live stream show up, as well as part 1 and part 2 of each one of those episodes when we clean it up a little bit the following Monday and release the cleaned up episodes with, this coming week, obviously, we're talking about Roadhouse.
Yeah. And if you want to find us on Instagram, which we post like shorter clips, fun videos there, fun reels, that's going to be on Instagram at Weekly Reel. And also we have TikTok at Weekly Reel Pod. That is going to be where you get to see snippets and edited versions of some of the stuff that we say here on the Weekly Reel podcast.
Yeah, I tend to have more creative liberties on the TikTok edits more than anything. I'm kind of proud of the last one. So, yeah, subscribe. What do you call it? Follow us on TikTok at Weekly Reel Pod.
Ken works really hard on it, guys. So go watch those edits on TikTok. But okay, for those watching on live right now, we will be back in just a bit. Remember, we're talking about top 5 remakes in honor of Roadhouse. So get that list ready. We'll be back in just a bit. And for those just listening in the future, when this is on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and all that stuff, we'll see you next time on The Reel.
All right, welcome back from the break. It's time for another bowl of the soup du jour.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It
Wait,
does. We just totally.
I can't think anymore. What's that? What am I supposed to say again?
I think you were just supposed to ask what the soup du jour is.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
What's the soup du jour?
Well, it is the soup of the day.
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Oh, shoot.
Goodness.
Hey, this is what you get with the live stream. There's no take twos here on the Weekly Reel Podcast live stream. So, yes, we have Soup du Jour, episode 5. And for this week, I mean, since we did cover Roadhouse 2024 in part 1, again, thank you to the live stream audience for joining us this evening. Since we did talk about Roadhouse just now, we thought it would be cool for the soup du jour portion of this live stream to come up with our top 5 movie remakes. And so, Jeremy, you're batting leadoff. What is in your top 5 as far as movie remakes?
Okay. My honorable mention, I'll start with the honorable mention first. This is just off the top of my head. I didn't think about this. I really liked watching War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise.
Oh,
you know,
that was on my almost list too.
Almost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I enjoyed that one too.
The first half is just like the Roadhouse remake. The first half is like pretty good. And then the second half is it kind of falls apart a little bit. But you know, Tom Cruise is he's kind of playing like this deadbeat dad, which it's like, oh, Tom Cruise would never do that nowadays. Play like a part that doesn't feel so Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
think that's a good mention.
I enjoyed his banter with his son, where he was wearing a Yankee hat, and then the son goes out of his way to wear a Boston Red Sox hat just to spite him. I was like, oh man, this is so good.
That is,
and it was all right. Yeah, it was all right before the hell breaks loose, right?
Yeah. And what's funny is that later on, Tom Cruise also wears a Yankees hat in Oblivion. So I like to think those are like in the same universe. They take that same like guy and they just clone him.
Yeah, I think so. It's just what do you call it? He's a variant.
Yes, exactly. Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Sean. Oh God.
Yeah, that was also almost on my list too. Damn. I saw Dread also.
I might have to revise my list. I'll give you my original list. Damn it, Sean, you know me too well. Dread would definitely be on this damn list.
Season 1. We did an episode on Dread. It was really good.
I forgot it was a remake. I don't like to think about the Stallone version. I watched it and it's bad. Holy crap.
Hey, why don't you give your list and then, I mean, if you want to plug in Dread somewhere, there you go. We could do whatever we want.
Okay, because dude, there's so many remakes. It's not even funny. I don't even know which some are remakes and some are not. Okay, I'll give you my original list first. Number 5, RoboCop 2014.
Of course.
I love RoboCop. The only thing wrong with this movie is PG-13. Should have done more.
Yeah,
Number 4, Walking Tall with The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I have a soft spot for that movie.
Hollywood
Number
Rock.
3, True Lies with Arnold.
Of course.
Apparently, there's a French version. Number 2 is The Thing, 1982. That thing. And then at my number 1, I put The Departed.
Oh,
yeah. Infernal Affairs. Which,
dude.
honestly, I think we both kind of liked a lot of Infernal Affairs, too.
Yeah, we did. It's crazy how much The Departed takes from Infernal Affairs. It's pretty good.
It's pretty crazy. Even, like, shots are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But, Sean, thank you for mentioning Dread. Holy crap. Because I'm just going to shift everything down, put Dread at like number 1 for me.
Whoa!
Yeah. I totally forgot. and RoboCop will be like honorable mention.
Holy shnikes. Do you want to actually go over like at least one of why you mentioned some of your remakes?
Okay. I don't want to say True Lies because I didn't even know that was a remake. The Thing is that movie's creepy, man. It kept me on edge the entire movie with crap, what's his name? Something Russell. Not Wyatt Russell, his dad. Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Um yeah, that movie is crazy. If you haven't seen it yet, or if you haven't seen it in a long time, it still holds up. Um,
I
but
haven't seen it.
yeah, I recommend it.
Okay.
Apparently, there's another remake of The Thing called The Thing in 2015 or 16. I haven't seen that one yet. I heard
Mm-hmm.
it's not bad either. So, I recommend watching the 1982 version, and the practical effects are pretty like crazy. So it made me want to throw up sometimes because there's some nasty stuff in that movie. But Sean, I see your comments though. I'm gonna let Ken go first though,
Thank you, sir.
because I
All
do
right.
want to talk about those too.
All right. So for my honorable mention, I gotta try to give my best Tony Montana impression. Say hello to my little friend. I gotta mention Scarface. I was surprised that I didn't have this higher, but yeah, I was looking at some of the movies that I had over this, and I was like, man, I probably haven't. It's because I probably haven't seen Scarface in a while, but I love Scarface. It's just Al Pacino literally shooting a shot with whatever accent he was doing, and it was entertaining. The exact opposite of Conor McGregor.
Dang.
Sorry, I gotta be that guy. Anyway, number 5, and I'm not just pandering to our live stream audience because I do see a comment from Sean. Number 5, I have A Star Is Born. Um, it's been the most remade. So I'm specifically talking about the 2018 version with Lady Gaga and oh my goodness, his name escapes me from The
Bradley
Hangover.
Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I just blanked that for a sec. But yeah, I didn't realize that there were 3 previous versions: a 1937 version, 1954, and 1973 version. But my goodness, the 2018 version was so good. The songs were amazing, the acting was crazy, and boy, was that movie dark. Oh,
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So
dude, you gotta go see it. It's so good.
okay.
Yeah. So that's number 5 for me. Number 4, I gotta do it. True Lies.
Yeah.
Cause Arnold, we both love Arnold. And Jamie Lee Curtis and who was the daughter? It was the girl from Sopranos, yeah?
Yeah, I haven't seen The Sopranos, so True Lies.
Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't. It was Eliza Dushku from Bring It On.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
funny.
so True Lies, gotta mention that. Number 3, recency bias maybe, but Dune Part 1 and Part 2, especially Part 2, just because, man, was Part 2 really good. So that's really high up there. Number 2, I was surprised you didn't mention this one, Jeremy. Ocean's 11. I love that movie. I feel like it's super rewatchable because of the cast. So many named actors. Again, it's probably because I like comedies more than you do. But
no, I like it. It's just for me, it's like I don't know. Like there has. What was it a remake of? Was there an actual Oceans?
Yeah, there was an Ocean's 11 from
Oceans?
1960.
Damn.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I want to say it was Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack.
I didn't
So
know that.
pretty famous. And number 1 is the same as Jeremy's, The Departed. Departed.
Departed.
Because you get Martin Scorsese, his take on Infernal Affairs, and dude, we just get what Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio at at the peak of their powers, mid-2000s,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get excellent support work by Mark Wahlberg
Yeah.
and Martin Sheen and Alec Baldwin and Anthony Anderson. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, dude, that movie was like I could watch like Infernal Affairs or The Departed happily, like either one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just the Departed's a little long, so
Yeah,
literally you got to kind of devote a little bit more time. You may have to break it up a little bit more, but
it's a little
man,
bit more depressing too. I think.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot going on, especially with when Vera Farmiga kind of gets in, and you kind of get that whole triangle part. Spoiler alert for The Departed.
Yeah, you have to say it. The Departed. Let's go.
Oh, Jack Nicholson. Sorry, I forgot. We don't want to
Yeah,
forget about Jack
for some reason
Nicholson.
I was like, did you not mention him?
Sorry, I totally forgot.
Sean also mentions King Kong 2005. I almost had this on my list. I grew up on this movie.
Yeah.
It's probably just like a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
The first half of that movie again is really good. Or it's like 3 hours, right? When I mean first half, I just mean when they're on King Kong's island.
Yeah.
So other than that, I think that was probably the best part of the movie. What traumatized me in that movie was when the worm bug things, and I think it like eats Andy Serkis like just alive, and it's like on top of his head. I don't know, that traumatized me up until this day. And doesn't wait, is Samuel L. Jackson in that movie?
Shit, I don't remember. I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
I forgot. See, Sean also said RoboCop 2014 was lit.
Mhm.
Okay, here's one though. Sean's also says Casino Royale.
Yeah.
And why do you have to put 2006 there, man? It's like makes it feel like a long time ago.
Okay, so I actually was thinking about adding it to the list, but I was like, man, there's like a lot of James Bond movies. I don't know does that count? I'll try to not make my make James Bond movies count, because there's like literally so many of them.
Is it considered a remake because they never told this specific story before of James Bond? I don't know. It would definitely be over Dread for me if I thought of it as a remake.
That is my favorite Bond movie, and it's way up there too. As far as just in general.
It's top, like, it's just like not even Bond movies, just it's in like my top 20 for sure of movies of all time.
Yeah, and it was I don't know, like Lashif as the
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, man, it was like, oh my god, he's such a good. Yeah, it's such a presence about him as far as being a good villain.
He was so good. And action. See, like, okay, Roadhouse, the way they cut it, right? When it's all like just sliding around, almost like one take, kind of stitching CGI stitching it together. I liked it sometimes, but it was more like unnecessarily. Like the action was like cleaner in Casino Royale. Like you could just cut it like a regular action movie, and I think it would have looked fine, like, or even better. Sean also mentions Baywatch.
Hollywood Rock.
Hollywood Rock. I never seen the original Baywatch with David Hasselhoff.
Oh, the TV show?
Is that, would that be considered a remake if it's a TV show and then it's a movie? It's like Mission Impossible, you know?
Yeah,
remake.
Mission Impossible. Yeah.
Ah, there you go. Mission Impossible is a remake.
Yeah, it's true. That is very true. Like we're covering The Fall Guy later this year, and that was I think that was a show too.
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it was The Fall Guy.
Ah, here we go. Jan also mentions Cheaper by the Dozen with Steve Martin.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
That was a funny one.
I
Yeah,
forget that's
but
a remake too.
yeah. See, I forgot to. I don't know if I would put it up there with my top remakes, but they're definitely a good one. And remember, Ken, who's in that movie again? One of our
Somebody save me.
there we go. Tom Welling is in Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yes, he
And Cheaper
was.
by the Dozen too.
Yes, he was. um, there was another one on a list that. Oh, I almost mentioned Heat, and I think I told you, right? I kind of recently
Oh.
watched this within the last several months, and it's just Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and then Val Kilmer, just doing really good things in that movie. It was pretty crazy.
That's true. Sean says if we're counting shows, Reacher, man, this guy's just pulling at my heartstrings. It's like he knows what I like. You got Dread, you got Reacher.
I know, man. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
But yeah, we were talking about movies. Maybe if it was the opposite, maybe if Reacher came out first, the TV show, and then Tom Cruise, because I mean that first Reacher movie was good.
Yeah.
It's just Tom Cruise isn't as tall as Alan Richardson.
Yeah. Which dude, when I watched the featurette of the what's it called, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
When Henry Cavill is kind of like ragging on Alan Richardson, and then Alan Richardson is just like complimenting
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill the entire time.
Yeah,
That's so good.
that is pretty good. By the way, just a random tangent. I didn't know that Alan Richardson was on American Idol, and he was that same guy that serenaded Paula Abdul. Because I remember that episode. I didn't know that was him. Only because I saw that recent video where he just starts singing that SWV song "Weak," and I was like, "Oh my goodness! I didn't know that Alan Richardson like sings really well." And then all of a sudden they resurfaced that American Idol clip. I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah. He looks so different. He looks very early 2000s.
Yeah, Paula Abdul loved him.
Yeah, that's for sure. He was in the show Titans, the DC show. He also sang in that, which I was like, all right.
Guy's so talented.
I was like, why is he singing? He should sing in Reacher. That would be strange. But I would watch
season 3. We gotta start a movement.
Yeah, he needs to sing a song. Reacher needs to sing.
Yeah.
Sean says this one was debatable, but Karate Kid. Oh, that's
With,
true. Let me think.
Jackie Chan
with Jaden Smith
I
versus
thought it was decent. I mean, I wasn't trying to like compare it to the originals. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know if it's top 5 good, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it too, especially when it came. I forgot what year that came out. 2009 or 2010,
something like that.
I feel like at that age I liked it enough. Just for the fact that Jackie Chan in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have a question for you, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a remake that you haven't watched that you are wanting to watch?
Probably A Star Is Born.
Yeah, there you go.
Or isn't Les Miserables a remake?
I think so. I mean, it is based off of a musical, right?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. It's a remake. Just thinking about musicals. But what other remakes are there? But yeah,
because I'm curious about Insomnia. I didn't realize Insomnia was a remake, and that's one of the 2 Christopher Nolan movies that I still have yet to watch.
Okay, Insomnia. Yeah, I haven't seen that either. We should probably watch it eventually.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan. Jan says, I enjoyed Karate Kid for the chemistry between Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith. Yeah, I bought into it. I don't know if I could buy into it now. When they do the next movie.
Yeah, obviously they're gonna have to kind of recast or something.
Yeah,
Wait,
I
are
don't
they
know.
doing another one?
I think so. They Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan put out that one video asking
Oh
for
yeah,
the
that's
next
right.
Karate Kid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I know that obviously Cobra Kai is one of the most popular shows out, and so yeah, I totally forgot about that. Thanks for
Yeah.
the reminder on that.
Sean also says this one's kind of debatable too. Total Recall. I'll take.
Go ahead.
Is
I'll
uh,
take a break.
okay. Okay, where do I even begin? First of all, me and Ken watched the original Total Recall in theaters. It was a kind of a late show, not late show. It was like 7 p.m. showing, and it was kind of a long day for both of us. But
30th
I was like,
anniversary.
yeah, it was the 30th anniversary. And I was like, no matter what, I'm seeing this movie. I don't care. Like, I gotta stay awake. Um, yeah,
It was
Colin Farrell,
good.
he's good in other stuff, but he was horrible in Total Recall. I was like, Arnold is so much better in Total Recall. Just, I don't know, man. If you haven't seen the first Total Recall, the satire, the action, it just has so much more like character to it. But then, and the new Total Recall has Jessica Biel and Kate Beckinsale, so
Mm.
that's, but you don't get Arnold, so I'm sticking with Arnold. Sean, did you want to talk about Total Recall, or do you want to talk about Planet of the Apes? Because I have
Oh,
only seen Rise, so, or is he
uh,
talking about the Mark Wahlberg one, which
oh,
I
I don't
haven't seen?
know. Yeah, it has been remade a few times. I forget. I always forget about the Mark Wahlberg one.
You know, I
Uh,
didn't. I recently listened to this other podcast, Watcher Podcasts,
mhm.
and they were talking about the Planet of the Apes movies, and I didn't know that the Mark Wahlberg one was directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, what?
Yeah, right. It's like what?
That's
What
kind of
is?
random.
That's so random.
Oh
Anyway,
man. Um. Yeah. It's weird. I've seen all three of this latest iteration, and honestly, I only remember the first one
oh
with
shoot, it's not M. Night Shyamalan. It's Tim Burton.
oh
Okay, just wanted to make that get that right. But yeah, okay.
yeah. Wait, what is Sean talking about? The Arnold version?
Oh yeah, he also preferred the Arnold version
Oh,
of
Total
Total
Recall.
Recall. Yeah,
Okay.
not Planet of
I
the
was like
Apes.
Planet of the Apes. I
There's a.
was like,
I would watch that. Even if you
I
made one now, I'd probably watch it.
oh, I know.
Yeah, get me.
Let's say Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
You got James Franco, which he's kind of canceled at the moment. But you got
Yeah,
San
I know.
Francisco,
I know. And you get what, Muir Woods,
Mayor Woods.
Golden Gate
It's a really
Bridge.
good origin story. Oh,
Yeah.
and you get what's his name from Harry Potter, Tom Felton. What's his character? His name? Not Snape. the the bully kid that always hates Harry.
Oh, I know you're talking about Draco.
Dra- Dra- Drago?
Ivan, Ivan
Ivan
Draco.
Drago. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jan says Draco. Draco. Sorry, Draco
Draco.
Malfoy. Jeez.
Malfoy. That I was like, wait, I was like, wait, what was the last name again? Oh
Malfoy.
man.
There we go. Okay, that feels familiar. Yes. Dracoy. Dracoy? Dude, what I don't know what I
Draco.
said. I'm just thinking of freaking if he dies, he dies.
I will break you. Dang. Woo. Oh man. Any other remakes that we have not mentioned yet?
Ooh. Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh man, like I feel like
Yeah, that's too easy.
It's
Like
too
you got the
easy.
Batman, Supermans.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at a list right now. I completely forgot that The Mummy was almost on my list, the original one. That's
Was there
a
original
remake.
remake
Yeah.
before
Here, let me.
99?
Mm-hmm. There's a 1932 version.
Oh, I did not know that.
So yes, that is a remake.
You didn't like the Tom Cruise remake? We didn't cover that, huh? What
No, we
year
did
was
not.
that?
No, that was a little before our podcast time.
Okay.
Um. Oh, I forgot about this one. This one almost made my list. Actually, It Chapter 1 and 2. As far
Oh.
as horror movies go, I enjoyed especially the first chapter. And I don't really care for horror movies, but that one was pretty freaking good. Second one, not as good, but yeah, I think that was based off of a novel, but I know that there was like an
Hmm.
older version of it in the 80s, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. See, I've never seen an It movie before, any of them,
Hmm.
but the first one, people always say it's better than the chapter two.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Sean also mentions, let's forget 2011 Footloose ever existed. Okay, I haven't seen the 2011 Footloose. I heard it was actually pretty good from what I heard, but then again, I also love the 1984 Footloose like a lot. So, um, yeah,
Because it's the greatest movie that ever was.
it's very true. Yeah, it never was. Um, he says can't touch the OG one. I think he
Yeah.
was referring to Footloose, but he could have also been talking about it when you were talking about it. But I'm assuming it's Footloose because him dancing to that song "Never" in the warehouse,
Hmm.
it's like you gotta get moving.
Yeah. I did see a couple lists where they do list The Thing as like the best remake of all time. You know,
You gotta
obviously.
see it, man.
Yeah.
It's a nasty movie. And shoot, the Arbiter. I think the Arbiter is in it. What's his name?
Oh, the voice
Keith
actor?
Keith David, right?
Yeah, Keith David.
I'm pretty sure he's in the thing.
That iconic voice.
Yeah.
The Arbiter.
Which, by the way, Halo Season 2 finished. I think you should check it out eventually.
Oh shoot. I got distracted with other stuff. I'm still in the
Yeah,
middle of episode 5.
yeah, it gets good. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah,
Good to
Keith
know.
David is in the thing. So, you got Kurt Russell, Keith David. Definitely recommend.
Nice. Um anything else on remakes
Mm,
before we call it an episode? Call it an evening.
no, I think
I
we're
think we're
good.
good, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we mentioned a lot. Well, anyway, again, thanks to the live stream audience for chiming in on the movie remake topic for this week's Soup du Jour. Before we close out this episode, though, we have one last thing that we want to share. So, Jeremy, go ahead.
Okay, my one last thing I want to share with everyone, go watch X-Men 97 because it's so good.
Yeah.
First of all, they bring back the original theme, the original intro, but that only takes it so far. Honestly, I didn't watch too much of the original in terms of I never watched it in order. I
Mm.
just watched it whenever it showed on TV after Spider-Man animated series. But yeah, X-Men 97, the animation is so good, the storyline, the voice actors are back. It's it's what X-Men should be on the big screen, and they're just doing it on Disney Plus. I'm like,
Ooh.
wow. For me, Cyclops has always been my favorite X Men. So, I feel like finally it's like get to see him do stuff.
How many episodes are they in?
I think 3 episodes if you include the one that just came out today.
Oh, nice. There you go. So you have, I take it you haven't seen it yet. I know you just got back from work.
No, I watched it this morning.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Nice.
I needed to see it, man. Yeah, because episodes are only like 30 minutes long, and you
Oh,
don't need to watch the 92 to 96 version to know what's going on. There's like previouslys, and I think your people are smart enough to listen to dialogue and just put the pieces together.
okay. So if someone were a complete noob, like, you
Hmm.
recommend the show just
I
on
do
its own?
recommend the show. Yeah, as long
Okay.
as you have some familiarity with the X Men, like, oh, that's Wolverine, that's Storm, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
then
I'll figure
you should
figure
be
it out.
fine. Yeah.
All right. Well, for my one last thing, it again, I feel like sometimes we do this role reversal where I'm usually the TV guy and Jeremy is usually the movie guy. He mentioned a TV show. I'm actually going to mention a movie. So, I think we talked about it earlier on a earlier episode of Soup du Jour about how I kind of wanted to play a little catch up on movies that I was wanting to watch at the end of 2023. So, the movie that I want to share is I finally watched Wonka, starring Paul Atreides. I mean, the Lisan Al Gaib, uh, Timothy
Nicholas
Chalamet.
Cage.
It was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was nice, wholesome, PG fun. Made me want to crave chocolate. And so, yeah, just I guess be careful when watching this movie because then it's kind of hazardous to your waistline and your blood sugar. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. Timothy Chalamet did his thing as Wonka.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The only Wonka that I've ever seen was the Johnny Depp one,
oh, the
Tim
Charlie and
Burton.
Chocolate. Speaking of remakes,
Yeah. So, which I guess they're both remakes, but maybe
well,
I'll see it.
I think Wonka is a prequel technically. I'll have to um I have to fact check that, or maybe even if someone can in the live stream can confirm that. I want to say Wonka is more of a prequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh. Jan does say such a good movie, but I was craving chocolate so badly
Yeah, see,
afterwards.
see, exactly. um,
That's dangerous, bro. You know I love chocolate.
yeah, no, I my blood sugar was a little high earlier this week. Oh, we got another comment. Uh,
Yeah.
s- Go ahead.
So Jan says, sorry, but Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was the best. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was eh. Well, I
Dude,
mean,
it looks like you may have to watch the original.
I know,
If
right? I
wait,
mean,
what did you think of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
I don't think I really liked it, but I didn't like dislike it because I didn't
Mm,
know. I thought it was the only thing that existed of that universe. You know what I mean?
back
I
then,
only watched it as a kid, and
yeah,
I remember getting a little traumatized when like they would like force feed the kids,
yeah.
and I was like, this is kind of disturbing. I don't like this anymore.
I was singing along. I mean, they sang the Oompa Loompa song. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're thinking Oompa
Hmm.
Loompa. Doo-doo-doo.
I gotta watch the original now.
I know. I don't remember the. It's been a while, so I need to go see it too. Now that I enjoy this latest version by the Mod Deeb. those Dune those Dune jokes will never get old. Oh, Jan J says the songs. I'm gonna attribute that to my singing voice, and I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but Oompa Loompa song is like so catchy. The songs actually within Wonka were really catchy as well. I was singing the Scrub song like hours after I got done, maybe even the next day. Scrub. I don't know. It's super catchy. You'll if you watch it, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's streaming on Max, by the way, and we're still not sponsored by Max.
Fair enough.
Any final thoughts before we close out this episode of the Soup du Jour?
I don't think so. Definitely check out if you just popped in. Go check out our Roadhouse
Mm-hmm.
episode. I think that was a pretty good one.
Yes, Roadhouse. Watch that exclusively on Prime Video. We're still not sponsored by them. Also, if you want to do some extra credit, watch the original 1989 version with Patrick Swayze. That's streaming on Max. Dude, we need to get sponsored by one of these streaming services because
I know.
we keep plugging them. So, thank you again to all of those who joined our live stream. Like we had fun talking about Roadhouse today as well as movie remakes in general. So, yeah, we'll see you in 1 week.
7 days. All right, final week.
Yes, we will be back in 1 week or our regular schedule for Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. I don't like that movie title, but hopefully it's good. And we will see you next week on The Real.